Alright, teleport. Stay on the head, stay on the head. Done. So I didn't pull. Alright, let me get help. Let me see. Påminn mig aldrig så jobbigt. Alright, let me have my stuff over here. I just mute it. Alright, I will be back. Just a second. Let me see the server. Where is it? I'm just gonna post a link for the live stream. I don't think anyone is watching. Oh, yeah, true. All right, let me see. Turn on display capture. So yeah, this is just a single viewer right now. I'm gonna pause the music for now. Yeah, so basically, for anyone who's watching right now, uh, I've started I've started basically development on a server software, which will be most of the time be used in New Legacy to create mini games and create better servers than using the original server software that got leaked. So that original server software is basically trash, and it performs very bad on with a lot of server owners. Um but for those who already know me, they know that I have a project that is called Minecraft Community Edition, and my project were to rewrite the leaked LCE code base and make it a bit much better and uh, perform much better basically. But I thought to pause the project development of Minecraft Community Edition and focus on something else by creating a server software, uh, which is a bit much more easier for me to maintain and to develop and to come up with a usable build. If I try to run it or run to write a game engine from scratch. Yeah, long time to see you, man. I know it's been a long time. But to uh, to write a whole game engine or voxel game engine takes a lot of time. So this project, I believe, will make it much more easy to show uh, my work like faster because that project took me too long to do. Plus, the Minecraft Community Edition will be renamed to something else, which will be called as a separate game engine, which I will name it later. I will talk about it later. But right now, I got uh, basic server software set up right now for Velo. All it does just do some basic communication, but I need to add more stuff to make better multiplayer functionalities. And what? Yeah, what is that? Yeah, as I said, gonna have right now I need to have a basic multiplayer functionalities, but before that I need to have to create a simple foundation for it. For example, a simple text user interface or some sort of user interface for the user to interact with the application. For people might think to use a GUI, but the problem with the GUI it puts a high pressure on the system. It uses a lot of memory usage, CPU usage, and it might kill performance. So I need to get a other choice. For other people might say, yeah, use command line interface. Command line interface is great for technical people, but for user people, it's not user friendly at all. So I need to combine both the GUI and the CLI, and I'm gonna use something called as a text user interface. And the text user interface is like those from the old 90s, 19 or 80s way of creating graphical user interfaces, but using just text. Like I will show you a simple example. Let me see. TUI dots. All right, like those. These style I prefer to have in my application actually, or my software, rather than having command line interface. I feel like it belongs to the people who's gonna using it, because they are not gonna be like user, they're gonna be admin. So it's suitable for their mood basically. It gives them the mood of as an admin, if you get what I mean. And that's what I'm going to do, but it's gonna take a lot of time because I'm gonna make the text user interface from scratch. I'm not gonna use any external libraries because I want to have it very compact. So let's say if we would like to have something as it shows here, like a diagram and a progress bar or usage bar and a lot of panels and those stuff, uh, I would say it's gonna use maximum of memory, like around 100 kilobytes. And that's what I need exactly. I need to have a way that the program doesn't, or the user interface doesn't use a lot of memory and not a lot of CPU usage. And so yeah, so I'm gonna, in this live stream, we're gonna just make something very simple text user interface library that will be used later to create uh, better, or ah yeah, I think you got it. So I previously I have already made a text user interface smallish library in Minecraft Community Edition, but I'm gonna rewrite it again from scratch because I need to make it more suitable, more compact for this type of server software. So yeah, so I'm gonna start with, let me have some music in the background. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, that's true. All right, the first thing we're gonna have is gonna make a just new folder, or just call it as TUI, and we're gonna make a class. I would call it as iConsole. Those specified class is not. What do you mean there? iConsole dot. What? Let me restart my Visual Studio. What's wrong? Hello. Save. Visual Studio. Start acting crazy. Can you please just exit? Thanks. Yeah, it's gonna. It took an eternity. God damn. Just keep it like that. Add new item, or let's say a class. iConsole. Okay, this is the header. Where is the source file? Like, what's wrong? Add existing item. There's no source file. Wow. Add. Let me see. Did it create a class? No, it didn't create a class. What's wrong with Visual C right now? Namespace below class iConsole. Control Shift Add. put it here. Let's say namespace below. And gonna make, so basically this is gonna be an icon, which stands for like, or let's say let's call it just console interface. Yeah, I'm gonna rename it to console interface. Console interface. Console interface. All right, so it's going to contain just a virtual pure function. So going to be inherited by a separate class, which will be used by a separate class, as I said. And this will work as an abstraction, which will be used for create, like, we got console window for Windows operating system and console for Linux and for Mac, if we would like to split it for different operating systems to output to the console terminal. So you're gonna say virtual boolean is open equals 0, and we'll say virtual void pointer get native handle const equals 0. Let me just bring my phone because I'm using the other monitor to see the chat if someone asks some question. Yeah. So you're gonna say virtual void set position const. I'm gonna use my type defs, include type defs const word x const word y equals 0. Virtual void set size const word width const word height. And we're gonna say virtual word get width const equals 0. Virtual word get height const equals 0. And say virtual std string get title const equals 0. I'm gonna say include string. I'm gonna use U16 string instead. And say virtual void set title to const std U16 string title equals 0. And virtual void close equal 0. Virtual boolean initialize console window. All right, so I believe this is what we want. We got the console interface, and we're gonna say what is that? All right. Now we're gonna say create a class add will be called as console win32. I don't know what's wrong with my Visual Studio today, man. Add new item, console win32.c++, include console win32.header, pragma once. I'm gonna say namespace below and back to console win32, same thing, namespace below. As such, I'm gonna close those files I don't need. Yeah. All right, just keep it as it is here. Console header, and we're gonna say hashtag include console interface header, and we say public, or wait, class first, window console win32. Say public, goes console or console win32, and make have a constructor. Gonna use a queue event bus, queue bus. We're gonna say void pointer handle window and const std u16 string title, and we're gonna say word width, word height, and word pixel width, word pixel height. All right, we're gonna go back to the console interface, and we can just copy all this and we'll paste it here. Remove the equals 0. Const dot dot dot. All right. Okay, we're done, but we need to define our constructor. Why can't you just create definitions right here? Oh my god. What's wrong with Visual Studio, man? Console win32, console win32, get the function signature. I'm gonna have private queue event bus queue log, or so queue bus, or it just maybe qlog was as such. And we're gonna store boolean b is open, and and a void pointer to handle window. All right. Let's go back. Qlog bus, qbus as such. We say if title.empty and width equals 0 and height equal 0. Then we just say if console win32 initialize console window, console win32 b is open equal to boolean windows console win32 native. You know what? Let me just rename this to NWH to native window handle. I feel like it's much better. Native window handle. And then we say else if, or before else, let's initialize or write down the function that initializes console window. So we say boolean console win32 initialize console window, and we say console win native window handle equal get console window, and we need to include windows dot header, and we say I just like define win32 lean and mean. So it makes it much more easier, or it wouldn't take time to compile this source file. And we check if we got the console window. Huh? So we say console win32 native handle. If it couldn't get the native window handle, then we say allocate console. And we do the same thing again, console win32 native window handle. We get it again this time, and if this time we couldn't get the native window handle again, then we just say message box null pointer could not initialize console window error mb icon error mb okay return false, and here we just return true. Okay, else if console win32 initialize console window console win32, I'm gonna say using C32 equal to console win32 for here, C32 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 B is open equal to boolean c32 at native window handle c32 set size, width, and the height. And we say rect, window rect, and desktop rect, get window rect, c32 native window handle, window rect, wnd, get window rect, get desktop window, and with desktop rect, desk rect, integer, say integer 32, window width equal window rect dot right negative window rect dot left, integer 32 window height equal window rect dot bottom dot top, integer 32 desktop width equal desktop rect, same thing, right? You know what, let me just do something like this and just rename desktop width desktop rect. Work smart, not hard type shit. And lastly, integer 32x equal desktop width minus desktop or window width, my bad, and divided by 2. Same thing for the y. Height so basically what we did here is we're basically gonna calculate the desktop width, desktop dimension, the window dimension. So we're gonna make it in a way so we can place the console window in the middle. We don't want it to be like off-sided or down here. We would like to have it in the middle of the window. So you'll just say calculate the or place the console window in the middle. And we just say c32 set position x and y, c32 set title dot c string, no, oops, just like that, and this we are done for now. We're gonna implement the other functions. Maybe I need to mark them as override, I guess. Override. Oh, I forgot to, public console interface. Now it should work. I guess. No. Yeah, fuck that shit. say boolean console when 32 is open, return console when 32, I'll just say turn this dot b is open. Say void pointer console when 32 get native handle const. This should be const, right? Console interface. What's wrong? How is that error? It's not an error. Not found in parent source file directory or in built system. What do you mean with that? It's here. Are you dumb or stupid? Visual Studio. It's here. Literally here. It's dumb or stupid. Take me back to the file. Yeah, it's just dumb. Return this dot native window handle. All right. Say void console when 32 set size to const word width const word height rect window rect get window rect HWMD native window handle, and we just say WM rect move window WM rect dot left W and rect dot top width and height true. And we do the same thing for set position. X and Y. Direct dot right WMD direct dot bottom, and this is just Y and X. All right, and now we're gonna take these, put them here, move this, and remove the override, and just say something like that. Lebanese shy. Sorry, I didn't see you. Lebanese shy. What do you mean with Lebanese shy? Console went there to get height. Return rect wmd rect get window rect error. Yes, some error. wmd native window handle. Say just window rect. This basically get width, which is a return window rect dot right. And to get height, same thing. But it's gonna be bottom. Right? Yes, bottom. And then lastly, we're gonna have, I guess, you get the title and set the title. So Control C. Console 132 get title. Char buffer, or let's say wchar buffer max path get window rect wmd edge native window handle. What's special about this software compared to others? Something that is special with this software is basically it's gonna be lightweighted. So you could possibly run it or run like a small server, just gonna be like dedicated. If it would say dedicated for just some mini games, Bed Wars, Sky Wars, then you could possibly run it on Raspberry Pi. So it's going to be very lightweight, yet it's going to be powerful. You're going to have a lot of tools and a lot of control and customization. Like you can customize however you want. You could move components from the server itself. So maybe let's say you don't want to have a Paper LCE edition? Not really, because Paper LCE is built on vanilla Minecraft server software, but this is basically rewriting the server software from scratch. So as I said, you could just strip away some part that you don't need to have. For example, you don't want to have word generation, then you could just strip it, so the performance will the server's performance will be much better, because you don't need to deal with word generation at all. If it's like fixed words just for bed wars, mini games, then you can just strip it away. Or let's say redstone logic, you don't want to have redstone logic, so you could just take it away. And entity AIs, if you don't want to have entity AI, you could just strip them away or implement your own if you want. So it's gonna be made just to be very lightweight. That's the reason, and it's gonna be, as I said, high performance kept in mind basically. So right now I'm just making a text user interface like those. So instead of using graphical user interface, we just use the terminal way because it doesn't use a lot of memory, and it's CPU friendly. It doesn't use the CPU a lot, and it has a cool looking style, I guess. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna make a simple console, yeah, console library just to create console text user interfaces. Where was I? Get title. Yeah, get title. Why do I need window rect here? What the hell? Get window text w hwnd native window handle. Let me say buffer max path. Yeah, that's not max path. This max path. And we return buffer, but I guess I will get an error. Yep, it's an error. Char 16t instead. And we just say wchar as such and pointer. All right. So we get the title, and we're gonna set the title by the function that sets the title. So it's gonna be set window text w and console or hwnd native window handle and say title.cstring, and we're gonna get error because it's gonna return char 16t. So we're gonna just typecast it to wchar pointer t as such. All right, and I guess the last thing is just to have close function. Console and 32 close, which is just basically b is open equal to false. That's it. So now we made a simple, move this virtual, made simple abstraction for creating console window on Windows basically. For Linux and other operating system, I'm gonna make them later. I'm not really interested in them right now. So yeah. All right. And one thing that I have forgot to tell you, that the plugin API system, it's gonna support wide ranges of compiled programming languages. So you could literally build plugin with any compiled programming languages. That says C#, C, C++, Rust, and it goes more than that. So any compiled programming language could be used to create plugins. So if you're familiar with Rust, go ahead with Rust. So yeah. So yeah. Now I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna make a separate class. I will call it as console. Console dot header. Yeah, fuck Visual Studio. So we're gonna say public and console, which gonna take the queue event bus. We're gonna have a queue event bus for console, just queue event bus. And as I said, console interface. And say queue event bus, queue bus, void pointer handle window const std string, or more like I hate Microsoft, man. Use 16 string title const word width const word height, and say const pixel width const word pixel height, console, or no, don't need that. I have a destructor and console interface get interface void pointer get input handle and void pointer get output handle. Void display and boolean is open and void close private console interface and void pointer h input void pointer h output core, or wait, no, to make a simple class, which I will call it as rect, which is going to be, or just say struct is much better, struct rect short x, y, width, and the height. And let's say rect view space I got a message. Let me see. Yeah, never mind. What was that? Yeah, create a definition. Create a definition. How? Create declaration definition. New function signature. Wow. Gonna restart that shit again for the last time. And now create my definition. I'm gonna fuck you up. Like, what's wrong? Every time I'm gonna stream something, Visual Studio decides to just brick everything up. Create a class. Let me just create a simple class. If I get an error, then Visual Studio is just an asshole. I could just create a class, call it class. Wow. Failed to return new code element, possible syntax error, new element class. Shut the fuck up. Delete. The hell is that? Yeah, what's wrong? Visual Studio is just an asshole. Alright, whatever. Let's say console. What's wrong? Is not a static. How? Or, oh, wait. Console. I don't need to initialize anything, my bad. Alright, let's say console interface equal to new console 132. If def 132 and if include console 132, which takes Q bus and window handle, title, width, and a height, and a pixel width, and a pixel width, I said, alright, pixel height, and just that. And now we just say if def when 32 and if and you would just say if console interface dot is open, then we just say console h input equal get standard handle. So include define 132 lean and mean. The hell is that? std input handle output handle small rect set console window info, console gets output handle, true, and breaks. If not, set console screen buffer size, console gets output handle, short width and short height, message box a null pointer, couldn't set the console screen buffer size, error, mb icon error, mb okay, set console active screen buffer, console get output handle, and we're gonna set font, so we're gonna say console font info extended cfi dot cb size equals size of cfi dot n font equal 0, cfi dot dw font size dot x equal pixel width, and same thing with the height dot y equal pxl pixel height, cfi dot font family equal ff don't care, I don't care, man, and font weight equal font weight normal, copy cfi dot face name console thus set current console font extended console get output handle false, cfi so view space dot left dot x equals 0, console view space dot y equals 0, width bro, what's wrong? If not, set console window info console get output handle true, reinterpret cast p small rect view space. If we couldn't set console window info, so we're gonna force the size get interface dot set size width times pixel width and height times pixel height as such, and we're gonna set console mode to console get input handle, enable extend flags, extended flags, and enable window So input, and we're gonna have enable mouse input. So it's gonna doesn't need to be just using the keyboard to interact with the user interface. We could use the mouse input. All right, so here we just create the console as it is. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go to main.cpp. We're gonna just comment this code, include console.header, simple console application, console takes a Q bus, Q event bus, Q bus, give a namespace, app, Q bus, null pointer, and hello world. Say 240 by 64, 8, and 16. And now what's wrong? Yes. Like, what do you expect me to give you? Console. Q event bus. Yes. And that's a Q event bus. Null pointer. I hate it. It doesn't be precise. Like, bruh. And then we just say while console.is open. Just say console.display, but doesn't display anything. There's nothing to see, basically. But if we just run the code, compile it and run it, hopefully it works. Error. Yeah, what's wrong? Pause. This is position. Bullshit. Linker error. Yeah. Amazing. Reference in function main. How? I don't know. There's something wrong with Visual Studio itself. There's nothing to be. There's nothing wrong. There shouldn't be anything wrong. There's something wrong with Visual Studio itself. Basic string. Wait. Yeah. I forgot. It doesn't tell me that there's something I need to create, like function signature. I mean, this is a function signature, but the definition, I don't have the definition. Oh god, console boolean console is open return console interface dot is open boolean. Let's say console destructor if console interface delete interface, and we set the interface. What the hell is that? Interface equal to null pointer. Console interface pointer get console inter, or just get interface. Interface. Now what? Resolve interface, input handle, output handle. We got structure. All we need is just get input and output. Nice. Finally. Yeah, bullshit. I don't care. This just initialize the queue event bus. Initialize console window, get console window. We set the size. Wait, what? The fuck? Set title. Okay, for now it just messed up. Set console screen buffer size. Set console active screen buffer. Set console window info. Reinforce the size. Okay, it's something not right. I think I messed up with something. Yeah. Here in console.c++, I need to multiply this with pixel width and this with pixel height. And it should work now, hopefully. I don't care. Shut up. We lost connection. Alright, I'm back. Alright. What did I want to do? Yeah. So the thing is, we got the console window running, but we need to have an event processor and a render target. And the render target is purpose to render things to the console window screen. So we need to create it. And I'm gonna say something like this. Can we see this server? Hello. I mean, what's wrong with my Visual Studio tonight? Visual Studio. For God's sake, please work. Like, it doesn't want to lecture my files. Server below. I don't know what's wrong with it. Is it busy doing something else? Like, what the hell? And it doesn't exist in my git changes. Or, I mean, okay, it does exist, but doesn't say it's added or it's something new. Oh my god. I need to dump this PC once for all. Oh my god, what the hell is that? Like, I'm pretty sure as soon as I just quit my software or like the live stream or just exit the live stream, Visual Studio will work again for some reason. I don't know why. Visual Studio is just being an asshole. Whatever. You know what? Let me just say render target. Name space velo. Alright, I'm gonna say struct char info, which take a union char 16t Unicode char and char ASCII char, let's say pixel, and short attribute Let me just include my type defs instead. I would say integer 16 and integer 8, integer 16, struct render element void pointer handle console std vector char info buffer struct rect short x y width and the height, rect view space, and we're gonna begin with the render target right now, which is gonna be a bit complicated. Yeah, you say public render target constructor and another constructor which take render element and void fly or destructor, and one single function would be called set pixel, and we just say integer 16x, integer 16y, and unsigned integer 16, or let's say word c equals 0x2588, and word attribute equals 0x00ff. Yes. Now we're gonna make, say, if x bigger than or equal. Before that, we can say using rt equal render target rt re dot view space dot x and width, y, and this height. RT the element dot buffer y times RT view re dot view space dot width plus x dot pixel dot Unicode char equals c. Attribute. Okay, now we got a function that basically just sets a pixel to a specific coordinate. So we're gonna try testing it out, but we need to initialize it through the console with the constructor basically. So we're gonna say I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna inherit this render target. Yeah. Let's go back to constructor. Take me to it's an asshole. Console re.hConsole equal console get output handle console re.view space equal console view space console re.buffer resize. So resize view space dot width times console view space dot height with the console initialize, or we don't need to initialize anything. Huh. All right. So if we go back to main.cpp and let's say velo or set console set pixel, its value of 1 gonna be white pixel. We set it there, but we need to display it. So I'm gonna say console.display, and let me see if I implement the console.display. Nope, I didn't do it. Void this. Small rect 0 console view space dot width console view space dot height, and write console output wide console get output handle p char info console re.buffer.data, and we just say console re dot view space dot width re dot view space dot height, and yes, now hopefully if I run I could see a white pixel on the console terminal. Redefinition. Yeah. Linker error again. What's wrong? Yeah, I didn't implement those. Yeah, that's why I hate Visual Studio. Oh, bro. Bro, we got a mosquito. Oh my god, I forgot to shut the window. Yeah, we got a containment breach. Oh my god. Damn, we got a. Oh man, we're gonna sleep in nightmare. Oh my god. Yeah. Now my mission is to hunt down that mosquito. Bro. Oh. God. Bruh. I think I got already better. Oh my god. Whatever. I'll just turn off the lights and hopefully it just come to my monitor. Clear render target re.buffer dot shrink to fit, and yeah, so I hope it works now. One 20 milliseconds? Why? It didn't display anything. Let me see. Yeah, my visual C is so freaked up. Why? Yeah. Yeah, dude, I can see your chat. Bruh. Width and the height. Bruh. You know someone who makes parkours in LCE? Unfortunately, no. Actually, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not a maybe map maker, so I don't have any friends who makes parkour or maps. Sorry. 39 milliseconds, bro. Okay, now we got a screen. We got a pixel on our screen, which is nice. But the startup cost 39 milliseconds. That's a lot. Yeah, here we got the pixel. I need it for custom mini games map. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, surely there's people in the dev team who are minigame developers. So you can just ask in a Discord. Maybe you will get answered. In maybe if you could ask in general, or I remember there was like a place dedicated to development. I believe you could just ask in general on your legacy in here, and hopefully you get helped by anyone. But so there should be some people who are dedicated to create. Yeah, you have asked many times. Then I don't know. Sorry, man, I don't know. 46 milliseconds. Seven seconds. Set position, set title. Yes. no problem with that. Resize. Continue, and here we got the pixel. Let's change that to, let's say, character E, and the value would be 0x0001 as an example, which is blue. Let's see if it changes. Yep, it doesn't change. It does change. I got the mosquito. Alltså jag kommer inte kunna den här. Vart är den skiten? Det var här nyss. Valla jag har dödat den bre. Alright, whatever. Okay. Rendering a pixel isn't the best thing. We need to have something much better. So we're gonna try render a line. So we're gonna implement a Bresenham line algorithm. I have already implemented, so I'm gonna just port it over as it is from my old implementation. And let's see, render targets, which is basically Control C, Control V, word attribute x00ff 0x2588 word integer 16 integer 16 integer 16 and integer 16. Let's say this. Alright, so this is the Bresenham line algorithm. I have already implemented it before, so I don't want to write it again, because if I messed up something, then I would need to have a lot of time to debug it. So I'm gonna try use it right away. Let's say console.render line from 00 to 1632. Here we go, we got a line, which looks great. So this is some simple graphics, I guess. Also the render line dot, okay, that's some simple thingy. Let's create a render triangle, void render triangle, which is surprisingly easy. Let's just enter x1, enter 16 y1, integer 16 x2, integer 16 y2, integer 16 x3, integer 16 y3, word c equals 0x2588, and word attribute equals 0x00ff. All I need to do is just say render target render line x1 y1 to x2 and y2 c and attribute, and from x2 to y2 x2 y2 x3 y3, and this y1 x1 x3 and y3. Yes, and let's go back to main.cpp and render a triangle. Console.render a triangle. Let's begin with top down. Let's say top down. Top down would be 0, 64, and next point would be 240, and let's just say 220 of 62. I'll just say 62 over here. I'll just give it 60, and the last point gonna be in the middle, so it's gonna be, let's say, 120, 0, like so, and run it. Nice, we got some graphics already. Textual graphics. What the hell is this? A copy of intrusive, but the current source code is different from the version. Yeah, I don't care. Different from the version built into. Yes. What should I do with it? The fuck? Look at that. So this nice looking triangle, to be honest. And CPU usage, it's fine. 2%, 0%. It's not that bad. Hello world triangle. But in console terminal. Alright. I'm gonna take a break. I'll come back. I'll just make the screen a bit. And just make this screen black and come back. I'm just gonna take a small break. And yeah, see you guys soon. Alright, I guess I'm back. Okay, let's just continue. Where was I? Okay, we got render triangle, but we need to do some sort of real text user interface, because render just triangle and lines as it is, it will not be like a real text user interface. So we need to create a panel. The panel is the same thing as saying a window in Windows. So basically this is a whole window, but in console terminology we say panel, or we would like to call it panel. We could call it widget, but I would just call it panel. So let's see. So I'm gonna create simple panel. I mean, panel, all it needs just render lines to render the frames of the panel. So yeah, we can just right ahead create the panel. So let's say create a header panel, name space velo, class panel, wait, panel, we shouldn't just create panel and just insert the console environment, something like that. We need to have something called as components. I'm gonna create class instead. First, gonna call component, because all my widgets are basically gonna be component based. So we're gonna say component dot header plus plus component. Run. Namespace velo class component and we're gonna say enum type of the component, say non equal 0x00, button equals 0b001, and panel equals 0b001 or 10, input box equals 0b0100. All right, component constructor, which takes to event type C type component type render elements RE const std use16 string id Just gonna leave it like that. Now let's say virtual void on update. Gonna leave it blank equals 0. And let's say virtual void on render, which takes render target pointer out equals 0. Virtual void on initialize equals 0. And let's say virtual void set size const word width const word height boolean resize buffer equal false. Virtual void set position const word x const word height. Wait, no, it should be I. Make a struct, call it as vec2, which is basically short x and y. So I'm gonna say vec2 get position const vec2 get size const and std u16 string get id const and vec2 get default position, because why not, and type get type const protected boolean be targeted render element get render element const void set component type and rect q event bus q bus private std u16 string id vec2 default position type render element component render element friend class with console. And yeah, I'm gonna have source for components. What the hell is that? Components. RE. Great. Void component set size. If resize buffer integer 32 size equal width times height, if com re dot buffer dot size not equal size, then we say com re dot view space dot width equal width and we say com re dot buffer shrink to fit buffer dot resize I said size. All right, and the last thing, or I think there's more, component set position const word x const word y rect dot x equal x rect dot y equal y vec2 component get size const return rect dot width rect dot height, and we say vec2 component get position const return rect dot x rect dot y default position as it is, and then we say render element or get component get render element const return this, just say com re, we say void component set component type this dot type equal type, and we're done with the component class. Now we can go to panel and write what we need. Include component take public virtual render target public component alright. Thing is, we can insert multiple components in the same panel, so I need to handle that later. Like if you take a look at the implementation of the panel that I have already made, it's quite complicated. Let's see the source. It's already complicated. Like, god damn, so beefy. There's a lot of stuff. Let's see, how can we implement it in our design. So we're gonna have panel Q event bus Q bus, and another panel Q event bus Q bus, and const std u16 string view title const word width const word height, and that's it. Panel structure, and we say static std shared pointer here. I'm gonna just use a shared pointer as I'm not really interested right now in intrusive pointer. So we're gonna say create instance core Q event Q event bus Q bus const std u16 string title const word width const word height, boolean create const std u16 string title const word width Alright. Virtual void on update virtual void on render target out override on initialize override vec2 get mouse position const, and we can implement that later because we don't have event processor yet, so it's not necessarily. We can just remove it, and we just say rect get rect const properties. You could do it later. Focus later, set focus. Protected void set up frame render target out rect rect and byte color private resizing right, resizing left, resizing. Is driving. Yeah, we don't need to do anything in private right now. Control Shift add. Panel.c++ include panel.header. Namespace velo. Let's say I already got it implemented, so I could just copy and paste. What do you mean is public zip har? And then what? RE nice. And we're gonna implement the create function. Method is and the target chicken found is, yeah, I need to implement that function. Render targets. It's just a simple method. It's not that big deal. On. All right. So we got the function create done already. Create instance. We didn't make create instance function, so use 16. Great. So you got create instance done. I'm gonna implement on update, on render, and on initialize. Void panel on update. Void panel on render, render target, and void panel on initialize. Good. And we need the get rect method. Whoops, my bad. My bad. Position X. Get size Y. Yeah. And we need to have setup frame. I already have them. X, Y. Good. Alright, we're gonna go back to the console header and we're gonna implement a way to insert and create components basically. So let's see. So we're gonna say boolean insert component const std shared pointer component. Fuck you. Yeah, after this live stream I'm gonna restart my PC because my PC is bricked. My PC is just done. Alright. std vector and std shared pointer component. Great. And then we go to display to update and render the components automatically. So we'll just say console for insert to I equals 0, I less than console components dot size I plus plus auto components console components I components on updates this. Shut up. Oops. Components on render this. And I believe we are done. Let's try it out and create a panel. Let's say 60 with 32. Let's try build and run. sets the position, return, insert component, call on initialize, return true, console display, update, on render. There's nothing to render, so what it doesn't render anything because there's nothing to render. So we're gonna render just the frames, panel frame specifically. Set up frame out this get rect border color, let's say 0xf white. Take a look, we got a panel. Which is great, right? We cannot do anything, we cannot drag it, we cannot yeah, we cannot drag it, we cannot resize it because there's no mouse input or keyboard input, so we need to implement something called as an event processor class, which I think I would like to just copy and paste it from the Minecraft Community Edition as it is. Because it's a bit complicated, a bit. Control Shift add C++ header event processor. Class event processor. Private struct keystroke condition boolean b-stroke pressed b-stroke released b-stroke is held. How big is it? It's just 1 byte, which is nice. Public event processor boolean initialize event processor void pointer handle input. Void process events keystroke condition keyboard as insert 32 key What's wrong? What's wrong? Let me see, event processor. How did I handle mouse input? taking ages, why? Yeah, I had specific inner class type. Like to get mouse position. And that's it.
I guess I'm back.
Oops. Well, I guess what time is it? It's 1 o'clock. Yeah, I guess I need to call it for a day. I've been live streaming for about 3 hours, and I guess we can continue tomorrow, or maybe, yeah. So thank you all for watching this live stream. I think it's a bit boring because there's a lot of stuff that need to be implemented before doing cool stuff. So we need to do the boring stuff first, then we can get to the exciting stuff later. So thank you all for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.